For almost 20 years, the Coastal Trails Network has evolved into a system of multi-use pathways and rail trails connecting our region's ocean beaches, parks, and transportation centers. Watch as Chapter 1, entitled So Far, captures the growth of the rail trail network completed by 2012. In Chapter 2, Connecting Communities, we'll track our progression through recently developed trails and the crucial linkages they provide to beautiful river and marsh views, quiet woodlands, and access to the region's many attractions. The Coastal Trails Network is an emerging 30-mile public system of bicycle and pedestrian trails linking the neighborhoods of Amesbury, Newbury, Newburyport and Salisbury. With several miles currently in public ownership, the trail network has already begun to offer residents and visitors a healthy, alternative means of exercising, shopping, commuting, or simply enjoying the region's abundant natural, historic, and cultural resources. In large part, this trail system owes its genesis to our past. The influence of the railroad cannot be overestimated. In the 1840s, locomotion surpassed clipper ships as our region's main economic vehicle. But rail began to fall from favor in the early 20th century. By the 1970s, rail's influence had pretty much vanished from these parts, leaving behind a network of abandoned corridors crisscrossing our communities. Around the same time, people with vision and passion talked of repurposing this once vital resource. Today, many stretches of the old rail system are once again an integral part of our communities, gaining new life and new purpose. But there have been many difficulties to overcome along the way, Newburyport being no exception.
I think this waterfront section of the trail represents a pretty good metaphor for the challenges we all faced in putting this project together. There's multiple obstacles, physical obstacles, financial obstacles, organizational obstacles we had to overcome. About 10 years ago, some people wondered whether it was even possible to do this. For instance, over here, there's a private condominium association and public access was cut off along the waterfront. So we ended up building a boardwalk with the cooperation of the condominiums. Over here we had a railroad embankment that cut off public access along the shoreline, going to this old rail bridge here. And so we ended up taking down a lot of stone and excavating out this section. And then over here we had a highway bridge and an underpass that was full of trash. And so we built a new underpass and worked with the state to repaint the bridge. So many people had to come together to make this project happen, and there became a great passion at all different levels from the citizens and from state officials and others that we could make this a really great public space with the public artwork, the sculpture, with the boardwalk, with the planters, the plantings. And I think we really accomplished that here because of everyone's drive to make this a unique space.
The Newburyport section of the trail is dotted with public art installations that greet people along the way. Some whimsical, poignant, bold, or beautiful, but all add up to creating a unique experience for those whose path they come across. Some works have been donated by the artists, while others were existing works purchased by the city. Still, some were commissioned specifically for the trail. Contrasting the urban flavor of Newburyport's section of the trail is Salisbury's Marsh Trail. The trail reveals a hidden gem of natural beauty that most residents didn't even know existed.
When I'm out here enjoying the Marsh Trail, I often think about all the work that went into making it. It's so wonderful now. It seems such an easy, nice place to be. But we had years of negotiation with the MBTA. We got the help of our senator and our representative Costello to negotiate a lease with the MBTA that let the town move forward with planning the trail. We worked with Mass DOT, and they provided the money to build the trail. Today, the trail is being maintained almost exclusively by volunteers. You see how beautiful the grass is? It looks like a park. That's all being done by one man on his mower. Today, I walked the whole length of the trail, and I made a little bet with myself about how much trash I would see. I saw one piece. Otherwise, it's all been picked up by volunteers. So we're very lucky that people have taken an interest in keeping the place beautiful and a place that they really feel good when they come.
Through the woodlands of western Salisbury is a 1.8-mile stretch called the Ghost Trail. The trail gets its name from trains that carried wooden carriages manufactured in Amesbury. The protective white coverings gave them a ghostly look. By rail, they made their way through Salisbury and to the rest of the country.
The Salisbury Ghost Trail has been a great project. It is something that we enjoy working on in our office. It is a connector. It has connected individuals to the community through the creation of the trail itself. It connects neighborhoods for people walking back and forth to riding their bikes to friends' houses, and it truly connects Salisbury to the surrounding communities.
When connected, Amesbury should be able to enjoy some of the benefits experienced in neighboring communities.
The rail trail enhances Newburyport's waterfront tremendously by allowing people to bike, walk, ride along our beautiful waterfront, enjoying the boats, the historic sites. It's truly a tremendous asset to our city.
With so much progress made individually in each community, CTC, MassDOT, and their partners have rolled up their sleeves and begun the task of forging the connections needed to make a continuous coastal trail network a reality.
We're standing here at the spur path to Marches Hill for Phase 2 of the Clipper City Rail Trail. We worked with MassDOT to do the engineering and permitting and securing the right-of-way and all the work associated with trying to get this next phase of work here through the south end. Right here, it's a complicated area with Marches Hill. We needed to get a handicapped accessible path down from the street level. We have what I think is a pretty nice spur path that goes down, maintains the park and the sledding hill and so forth, but has the access. And then the trail goes out through the woods back here behind the park to Parker Street in the town of Newbury. We're working right now with the town and then farther down to try to start filling the gaps in the rail trail down there. And heading north over here, the trail continues right through the south end neighborhoods and gets down following the old Newburyport Railroad right down to the waterfront.
The rail trail has connected 4 of our major parks here in Newburyport, along with many other public spaces. The interface here at Joppa Park is a perfect example. Joppa Park is a highly utilized but small park here in Newburyport with gorgeous views of the water and a popular boat ramp for kayakers, other small craft, dog walkers, waders. The rail trail has connected the north end with the central waterfront and now the south end and Joppa Park, which means better public access to this wonderful special waterfront park. While access to our waterfront is a main objective in many communities, waterways can present great challenges for our trail connections. One such obstacle was bridging the Merrimack River to connect Newburyport's trails with Amesbury's, a key link vital for the greater trail network. MassDOT found a way by addressing this challenge as part of another state project.
So yeah, we're up here in Amesbury, and this is one of my favorite trail networks in the entire state. This is taking advantage of the fact that years and years ago there were rail lines that crisscrossed this whole area, north, south, and east, west, and over time we've been able to convert most of that old railroad right-of-way into trails. Right in front of me you see traffic coming off the I-95 Whittier Bridge. That was another crucial piece of trail connection that we actually managed to get built as part of the I-95 reconstruction a few years ago. There was a shared use path that was incorporated into it, and I think it's the only one in the entire state that actually shares right away with an interstate highway. I've been actively coming up here and cycling up in the Amesbury, Newburyport, Newbury, Salisbury area just because of its growing network of trails that I'm happy to report that MassDOT has partnered with folks like the Coastal Trails Coalition and all the municipalities to help get built, to have great and safer places to walk and cycle. That's what it's all about.
Hello, my name is Jeff Shrimpton. I'm the Cultural Resources Supervisor for the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. I worked for a long time on the Whittier Bridge project, dealing with all of the historic aspects. We had a historic bridge. It was built in 1952, and that bridge was very significant to many people in the area. So we knew we had to mitigate it. One of the most important parts of that mitigation was to develop a series of interpretive panels that were installed along the new Garrison bike trail. I'm standing now at the historic Chain Bridge filling station trailhead, and here we've got a small plaza that includes many artifacts from the bridge. One of those artifacts is a state seal carved out of granite that was one of 4 that was on the abutments to the original Whittier Bridge. Another artifact, one of my favorites, is a sculpture that was created out of part of the old truss from the Whittier Bridge. As you can see behind me, there are stairs that are leading down from the bridge, from the bike path on the bridge, and those allow people crossing the bridge to come down and enjoy the artifacts, the interpretive panels, and this rest area.
So we're on the recently completed Ghost Trail connector that brings the Ghost Trail from Salisbury into Amesbury, joining Rabbit Road over to Elm Street on the other side of 95 here. And this is the next to last piece to really connect Amesbury's Riverwalk Trail to the larger coastal trail network. With this, people are able to come safely through 95, through this tunnel behind me, and connect up with Elm Street. So with this connector trail, we still have a missing link. On the far side, going into the downtown of Amesbury, is the very popular Riverwalk Trail in Amesbury. But it ends at the Stop and Shop Plaza just on the other side of the highway here, and there's about a half a mile or less in between. So we have that gap, and we're now in the process. We started paperwork with the Commonwealth to be able to connect along Elm Street in Amesbury connect over through that plaza and connecting the Riverwalk, which will enable people from downtown Amesbury to have full access to the full coastal trail network, including the recently completed Garrison Trail into Newburyport.
Though one link remains to connect downtown Amesbury with the greater trail network, much critical work has been accomplished, bringing the trail network across the New Hampshire border.
When we built the Marsh Trail in Salisbury, everybody was just overjoyed. But it created a problem because so many people were coming to the trail from Newburyport and Rings Island, and they had to cross Route 1 through heavy traffic. So we really had a wonderful new trail, but a big safety problem. And fortunately, Mass Highway recognized the problem and worked with us to design and build this wonderful pathway under the Gillis Bridge. It gives people a safe way to travel from one place to the other, and we've also created a pocket park with beautiful scenes of Salisbury, a picnic table, and some sculptures. So come see it.
My name is David Reed, and I am one of the trail advocates of the North Shore with Jerry Klima, and I'm standing on the Salisbury Trail, which is a component of the Border to Boston Trail, the New Hampshire Border to Boston that's being developed, and it's also a component of the larger national project, the East Coast Greenway, that runs from Calais, Maine at the Canadian border all the way down to Key West, Florida. The East Coast Greenway is a 3,000-mile trail. It's about a third done at this point in 2020, and each year more and more trail gets opened and built. The Salisbury Trail had just opened up, and we wanted a way to put informational posters as well as a map on the trail. And my buddy Mike Krumer came up, and we built this kiosk in 2010.
Hi, I'm Derek Griggs. I'm a member of the Friends of the Seabrook Rail Trail, and we're here on the Salisbury-Seabrook Rail Trail connector, which allows you to exit the Salisbury Rail Trail at the northern end of it and go up onto Route 286 in New Hampshire. This was made possible by the Firemen's Association in Seabrook, who own the property. They granted us an easement so that we could build this trail in cooperation with Salisbury. And it's about 1,000 feet long total. I'm standing at the New Hampshire-Massachusetts border, and there's a little more on that end than there is on this end. But without this, you would not have been able to have the Salisbury Rail Trail come as far north as it did. And the other thing is it allows Seabrook residents to have a taste of a nice recreation trail that's accessible from their community. Hopefully this leads to the actual rail trail extending further northward, and that's our goal.
The new 2.3-mile extension of Salisbury's Marsh Trail crosses Route 110 with a pedestrian light, connects to the Ghost Trail at Lions Park, and continues north over the new trail bridge at Route 1. It connects the town center, the Salisbury Elementary School, and Partridge Brook Park, passing through beautiful woodlands on its way north to New Hampshire. The original railroad bridge over Route 1 in Salisbury was removed because it was too low. This new bike and pedestrian bridge is part of the Marsh Trail Extension Project and lets people travel safely across Route 1.
This extension of the Salisbury Marsh Trail is a great addition to the Coastal Trails network. It connects Salisbury's town center with its elementary school and with some new parks and playfields. It's also part of the Border to Boston Trail and the East Coast Greenway, and will connect the Coastal Trails network to New Hampshire through miles of beautiful woods. We've been working on this Coastal Trails project for almost 20 years, and so far we've had 25 projects, and we've now completed 26 miles of trails. When I think of how far we've come, there are countless people to thank. They include volunteers, congressmen, senators, representatives, our local banks who have given us grants, Essex National Heritage Commission, National Park Service, and Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. But most of all, we need to thank MassDOT. MassDOT has come through every time. They've provided the lion's share of the funding for the trails, and whenever there's been a problem, they've helped solve it. So hats off to MassDOT.
Sometimes we forget our past, but these trails were originally forged for a different purpose, with back-breaking labor by men in a distant time whose names we may never know. And now, through great effort, a new generation has resurrected that endeavor, repurposing it for a new use, and in a way, keeping their memory alive.